Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of What Sold on eBay. I am Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, with over 30 years of reselling experience. We're going to go over some of the items that we sold in the American Cancer Society. All these items were donated, and we're going to talk about a little bit about them. If you do enjoy these programs, definitely go and click the like button right now. That definitely helps the algorithm. And if you're new to the channel and you want to learn about different items to sell on eBay, go down there and click the subscribe button. So let's get into the first item here. We have this Chanel jacket. This is a size 46. And the thing is, I didn't really know a lot about Chanel jackets or women's clothing to begin with when I started the job a year ago. And I've learned an immense, crazy amount of stuff in this year. And I could spot this jacket if it was in a Goodwill from a mile away. The threading is just so amazing. And Chanel jackets, especially the tweed ones like this one, they really, really, really pop out. So you don't really even have to look at the labels. We'll show you what the labels are here. This is a newer one. As you can see here, that's the size 46. And that P310 number, that very long stretch of a number, that is what you look up if you ever see these on the floor or whatever, or if you find these. I say on the floor, like I mean like a shopping area or whatever. But when you see these, definitely look that up. You can find out some more information. It's usually that's the style number, and you can specifically look that up on Google for the most part. And this is a really nice jacket. We get in these from time to time. We had a couple last year. We had a couple this year, and we took a best offer for about $275 on this one. Some of these can go upwards of 600, 700, 800, depending on the style, especially some of the multicolored ones that have really nice designs and things like that. But this one sold for a pretty good price. And like I said, Chanel jackets, you're not going to come across them too often, but they are out there. This would be more like a estate sale type thing. So, if you can find this under $100, would be, a good price point for these. Because for the most part, they all sell for over $200. And like I said, you can get really specific ones with the nice different colored threads that go for over $600. So definitely keep an eye out for this kind of stuff for sure. Next up, we have this authentic row. This is a brown lizard small designer handbag. This was 7.5 inches in length. This was kind of like a smaller handbag, very nice, very high quality. Some of you might not know about the Row. That's what the little tag looks like. The Row is actually the brand name. They're mostly known for their clothing. And if you find any Row stuff anywhere, definitely pick it up, especially if the price is right. It's very high-end clothing. So this is definitely a Bolo brand to look out for, the Row. They do accessories and things like that. Their handbags are very, very expensive. I think this one retailed for, yeah, $5,400. Now, what's crazy is we're not even going to get close to this. Uh, this is like, we sold this as pre-owned. We had it for $899, and I think we took a best offer for $500. So literally like 10% of what this retailed for is what we got. Like it's kind of crazy to see the prices of some of these pieces that we get in sometimes. And so, yeah, we'd be lucky to get, 20% of what the original value was. It did have a little bit of wear in it. That's why I didn't sell it. I mean, it's got its tags, but it's not new at tags because it's got some wear. If it was in a little better shape, I definitely would rate this a 9 out of 10. Some of the hardware had a little bit of scuffing and on it, as you can see, like one of the little pieces of scuffing right there. And it had a slight wear to it, so it wasn't sold brand new. But definitely look out for the Row. It is a Bolo brand to look out for, and this stuff is probably an estate sale type thing. You might find this at a Goodwill. You're definitely probably not going to find this kind of stuff at a garage sale, and but you never know. Well, I'm just saying, just to look out for the Row. Another Bolo brand to look out for, Loro Piana. I've talked about that before in the past. And a huge shout out to Krillin for telling me about Loro Piana like years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, as a brand to look out for. This one happens to be a scarf. This sold for $100 with one bid, and this is how you can tell it is. You know, this one happens to have it printed. For the most part, some of these have tags. This thing didn't even have its tag. Usually scarves will have a hang tag somewhere, and these ones happen to be cut out. And it did still sell for $100. This one was a 75 by 52, 100% cashmere. Actually, this was a silk blend. I don't know why I put 100% cashmere. That I must have been doing a multiple auctions and forgot to leave this in. What's crazy is sometimes, you know, once you start to deal with this stuff a lot, you get the feel of like what's cashmere, what's a cashmere blend, what's pure silk, what's a silk blend, and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, like I said, I've learned a lot over the last year of just touch and feel as far as the different scarves and things. But Loro Piana, that's definitely a Bolo brand. Buy it if it's cheap enough. I've never seen Loro Piana fakes out there, but I'm pretty sure there could be some counterfeit stuff, but I've never seen it. Haven't even heard of counterfeit Loro Piana stuff, so if you ever see that label, it's pretty much going to be legit. But you know, their quality is very high, so if you see a Loro Piana that doesn't have quite high quality, there might be an issue there. With any other brand, Chanel and all those other higher end brands, you know, the fakes are gonna definitely look a little off. But definitely scarves are something to, if you don't know about scarves, definitely research it. I went into a Goodwill the other day and I was able to pull 5 or 6 scarves. Nothing high end. There was a couple $50 scarves that I did pull out of there. And so I feel like it's one of those things just like glass in art that is missed very easily, because what happens is if it's missing its tag, they don't look for this. And you know, I found some high-end stuff at Goodwill because they're looking for a tag, and if it doesn't have a tag, they're not even going to bother looking at the whole print to find like Hermes or any of the very high-end scarves. So definitely, you know, just a pro tip, you know, these are one of the things that Goodwill's not really looking for and looking at really, you know, with a microscope. So this is one of the things to look out for if you're ever in a Goodwill. Speaking of Loro Piana, we did get some pretty good donations in from one particular donor. Yeah, so some really high-end pieces. So this was a really nice piece. I think we took a best offer for like 175, 185 for this piece. It is a peacoat. It had some wear on the hardware. Some of the brass was kind of had some tarnishment. It was a really, really good condition, and that's what a Loro Piana jacket tag usually looks like. It's huge. It's like probably like a 2-inch by 3-inch label. There's also the side label. Actually, this is in the neck, I think, this part. Or usually on the sides if you open up. This is, you know, a size 46. This is what a Loro Piana tag will usually look like. They also have a white version with, it's like brown lettering. And but for the most part, some of the darker colors will have this dark tag. And as you can see, this is 100% cashmere. The Loro Piana stuff you really want to look out for is baby cashmere. If you ever see Loro Piana baby cashmere anything, and it's a, you know, a reasonably good price, definitely pick it up. Even if it's like $100 and it's in mint condition, you know, those things go for $200, $300, $400, $500 on up, especially if they're new at tags. But anyways, this is definitely. This is what the inside looks like. As you can see here, there's so that was the neck one, so that must have been in the side over here. But Loro Piana, it's like a super Bolo brand if you ever come across it. I think we have. Do I have? Oh yes, so we have another item that's going to be. I think it's a few items down the way here in this video. Loro Piana actually sells the thread, the fabric, and it's usually another company, and then it's like Loro Piana thread, so it's not Loro Piana proper, which this piece is. It's kind of like another brand that uses their threads, but also has their name in the tag, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Next up is this Mishka Kid Robot. This is a Labbit, and for those that don't know, Labbit's kind of like this vinyl rabbit. Kid Robot stuff. Let me see if I can see that's what the Kid Robot logo looks like. And there's usually like a little robot. Let me see if I can find that part. I guess right here in the corner is just this little robot in the corner. That's kind of the Kid Robot logo. Look up all this kind of Kid Robot stuff you ever find. Some of it's worth something, some of it's not. For those that don't know, it's basically like a collectible toy. It's not really meant to be played with. I guess it's called an art toy in the business. This happens to be a vinyl done by the artist Mishka. If you ever see this guy's name, it's kind of like, it's not even, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's Russian because the guy's not Russian, but it kind of looks like Russian lettering. But that's Mishka. If you ever see this name, definitely look it up. His work is definitely worth some money. This sold for $99 plus shipping. This is kind of like a cool little Labbit. It's called Labbit, like a rabbit kind of character in the Kid Robot universe. They've done so many different things using this particular like rabbit looking figure. This one's really cool. It's got like a screaming hand and an eyeball. Really interesting piece, but definitely look out for Kid Robot stuff. There's some really, really high end stuff out there. Not high end as far as like when they were released, but stuff that's retired and collectors are looking for. But for the most part, Kid Robot stuff, you have to look it up on a case by case basis because not everything is going to be gold. Next up, we have this Littlest Pet Shop. These are little kind of little animal dog figures. They're kind of different animals, basically little tiny toys. LPS. I don't think the older ones will say LPS, but kind of a pro tip for these, if you ever do find these little figures, um, some of the very first ones that were made are worth a pretty good amount of money. And I don't think I took a photo of the bottom of the feet. The key is the bottom of the feet. And I don't think I have a photo of it. No, you can't see the bottom of the feet on that one. The very first ones that came out have like a little heart or a little symbol underneath their feet. Maybe I'll do a video on that. If you want to see a video on Littlest Pet Shop, leave a comment below, and I will see if I can make a video about that. Because there's actually, these things are actually worth some of the first ones are worth actually a crazy amount of money. There's a ton of them that are worth over $50 just for the single ones. Well, anyways, we lotted this up. We probably could have parted this stuff out and made more money, but for this stuff, we just wanted to kind of put it all together and just get it out the door. So speaking of which, if you want to visit our eBay page, we have all kinds of deals like this, in and out. You know, you're looking for some retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. Definitely go and check out our auctions. And if you're local to Los Angeles, you can come pick it up for free. Next up of this Overeaters Anonymous books. This was a lot. We had a lot of Alcoholic Anonymous, Debitors Anonymous, and Overeaters Anonymous stuff come in. This is a Bolo brand that I don't really see anyone talking about. These Anything Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, those kind of books. There's some very, very, very expensive Alcoholics Anonymous books, and that's one of my secret bolos I really don't talk about, and I'm going to tell you guys right now. The one of my hidden bolos is Alcoholic Anonymous books, especially the very first editions. And let me see if I can actually look at this real quick. I'll show you guys real quick here. We're going to take a trip to Worth Point right here, and I'm going to show you real quick what I'm talking about. I want to say the Alcoholics Anonymous books first came out. Just put anonymous, but it comes up. Some of the, here's the one right here. Oh, why isn't it doing it? It won't let me sign in. Oh well. This is the very first edition. It's I guess it's 1939. I thought it was in the 50s. This book goes for thousands of dollars. Some of them go for hundreds of dollars. Some of the other printings. Look out for this red book. I mean, there were some that came out in the 50s and the 60s that are blue. It's normally known for the blue books. As you can see here, there's ones that are blue. And I don't think I can sign in. I guess I'll sign in some other time. But anyways, my whole point is to look out for these kind of books, especially this red one from 1939. This goes for like a few $1,000s. And even in horrible shape, these go for hundreds of dollars. So just keep a lookout for those. Next up is this Cream Royal Albert Hall DVD. DVDs are still selling. This one happened to be brand new in the package. Sold for $19.99 plus $3.99 shipping. This stuff you can find all day long at garage sales, thrift stores, estate sales, and all that kind of stuff. The main reason why I'm showing you this is it's a bread and butter item. And usually look up when you see these kind of box sets that are bands, especially like older rock bands and things like that. Some of those actually go for a pretty crazy amount of money. So look those up individually. This would have been even though it's got a little scratch, and sometimes you'll see these scratches in the barcodes, and usually when you see that, it means that these things were given away for free as promotional items. I work out of Burbank, California, and we have so many studios and record studios in our area, and we get donated a bunch of this kind of stuff all the time. And you'll see these kind of, they'll be hole punched. Sometimes the CDs will be hole punched, drilled. There's a whole thing like that, and that's just so that you don't go and, like, if you got these things for free, you don't go to Target and then try to, like, return it. That's the whole point of why. If it doesn't say, some of the CDs and things will say promotional, not for sale. Those are some of the very specific promos, but sometimes people get this kind of stuff for free, and the companies will scratch out or hole punch these barcodes before they hand them out. So if you ever see that, that's exactly what that means for the most part. So definitely look out for those. This is actually a really interesting thing. Two of the things I can tell you right now that don't go for money, and I try to stay away from, are plates and clowns. Now, you got a plate and a clown. Plates, I stay away. I run from plates when I see them. Collector plates, I mean, not, fine china and all that. That's a whole other thing. But when I'm talking about collector plates, Star Trek, Barbie, Elvis, those collector plates, football players, I stay clear from those because for the most part, 90% of the time, they're not even worth looking at. But there's this weird stuff like this that, for whatever reason, this sold. This sold for $97. It was a red skeleton, limited edition to 10,000. There was 10,000 of these made. I don't know what the deal was with this, why these go for so much, and why it sold, but it did. We'll take it. But I'm just telling you, I always tell people to stay away from plates. Right now, the market is dead, just like dolls are dead, just like a million other things, because what happens is it's a generational collectible. And I can totally make a whole video on just generational collectibles, like thimbles, spoons, like all this kind of stuff, that stamps that older people collected in the 30s and 40s and 50s and were getting good money in the 70s, 80s, and 90s aren't demanding high dollar anymore. I don't see people making plates anymore. It's just one of those things. So, like I said, for the most part, feel free to look up all the plates you want and do your own due diligence. I'm just here telling you with 30 years of experience what I've come across, and I think that's why a lot of you watch these videos, is you appreciate the experience and the knowledge and the hard work that goes into this kind of stuff and knowing about this kind of stuff. So anyways, this sold. This was an anomaly and a half. Like I said, this is we sold two of these. There was another one too, and that even sold for higher. So I don't know what the deal was with this, but we'll take it. Next up, okay, cool. This is the Loro Piana thing that I was talking about, where you see how it says this is like what is this, Falconable? That's the brand, but it's got a Loro Piana storm system woven in Italy. So basically, this company hired Loro Piana to use their threads. It's usually some other company will make the jacket. Loro Piana will provide the threads, even though it says woven in Italy. I don't think it's the Loro Piana factory that actually makes this, but they actually like sell the threads. I saw a whole documentary. That's how crazy research that I do on a brand sometimes, and I'll go into the history, who invented it, what their current like thing is, what their setup is, and I went like knee deep into Loro Piana stuff. Very fascinating company, by the way. Very old company, by the way, and it was fascinating to see this kind of stuff. But anyways, if you ever see these storm systems, rain and wind protection, woven in Italy by Loro Piana, definitely pick these up. Like they don't go for the money that a normal Loro Piana jacket would go for, but you still can get squeeze like 50, 80, $100 out of some of these, especially if you can get them in the $20 or below range. We sold this for $49.99. Sold really quick. We probably could have put it higher, but like I said, we have some pretty good deals in the shop, so if you want to go and check that out, I do think I have a link below. Next up, we have this light relief. I don't know. I guess this is a pain muscle. I don't know what the hell this is, to be honest. But the reason why I'm posting this is this is the this is garage sale crap. This is garage sale stuff you see all the time. Someone has some of these things, they're looking at it, they just put it out there for $5. Look all this stuff up. There's some other things, beauty things that are like this that go for a crazy amount of money. So you definitely want to look those up. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. If you enjoyed this video, definitely click the like button. Let me know in the comments below if you learned anything new in this video, if you have any questions, and if you're new to the channel, definitely go down there and click the subscribe button. And if you're old to the channel, make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube's unsubscribing people for whatever reason. It's been an uphill battle with this channel. You know, everyone that's watched this, who followed me for long enough, knows that it's a struggle to get views. It's a struggle to get followers and all this kind of stuff. So your likes and your subscription and by clicking the bell for notifications definitely helps the channel out if you appreciate what I do. And I definitely love sharing my knowledge with everyone here. So I definitely appreciate it. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, and we'll see you next time. Take care.